Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's shift the focus of our attention this morning to still with the economy, a critical aspect of the economy. Crude oil is our mainstay. In fact, Nigeria has entered into several contracts to forward sell most of its crude oil. Yes, it started during the Buhari administration, and of course, the $3 billion loan the present NNPC Limited is sourcing also involves forward sale. Take the money for crude oil you sell in years to come. That explains the situation Nigeria's economy is presently in. Joining us now to take a look at how we are managing the crude oil, especially the growing incidents of theft, is Dr. Mike Emu. He's the National Chairman, Host Communities. Host Communities is host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas. In fact, they are the landlords of oil-producing communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, viewers and Nigerians.
So how is the host communities doing?
Well, thank
God.
Are
they agitating, complaining about marginalization, oil pollution, name it?
Obviously, we are agitators, and we keep on agitating for our divinely endowed denied prerogatives of the oil and gas. If we look at the issues of pipeline surveillance, issues of modular refineries, issues of 30% derivation, issue of 3% PIA, now 5% PIA. All these are rights of the host community that we are denied of. The 1999 amended Constitution, Section 162, Section 2, made it very, very clear that 30% derivation is for the host communities of Nigeria as a result of the loss of their fishing farms and rights and all that. But to date, I wonder why 30% derivation is given to governors and local government chairmen against the law of this country. And so we of the host community as landlord, we know that by divine God's grace and intervention, we know we produce over 70–90% of the economy, and that we are denied of our right, but we are patient. Especially when we have a government like the new government of Bola Tinubu that came on board, and we actually clamoring for a change. And if change will take place, then we must look at increase of crude oil production. And we look at issues of how attention should be given to the host community. We are challenged with the destruction of the ecosystem, over neglected region. And I keep on wondering when will Nigeria come to the rescue of the host community? When you look at the degradation, look at the gas flare pollution, look at the corrosion, look at the acidic rain, look at the destruction of the ecosystem, yet nothing is short fault in terms of development.
You spoke of increasing crude oil production, but the more we produce, the more they are stolen. Let's get your perspective.
I don't believe that. If we're producing 1.3, 1.5 million barrel, 1.7 as it is today, and so forth and so on, and we're yet to meet up with OPEC, the OPEC production quota given to us. We should be producing at least 2.5 to 3 million barrels in a day. I believe that there were oil thefts issue in Nigeria. It was so common, so rampant at the time of Buhari. And I cried out and I challenged the government by then because it was just too pronounced. But since Bola Tinubu government came into power, there is a drop in oil thefts. And this is as a result of the good work of Tinta, a good work of OMS, the good work of the host community that believe in creating an enabling environment, being informal to the government, building along with Mr. President, as issue of oil theft have reduced. No one can convince us or convince me at this stadium or in Nigeria today that illegal refineries are increasing. No, for the past 3–4 months, no. No one can convince me that oil theft is increasing. in the Niger Delta in the past 3, 4, 5 months now? No.
What are the contributions of the security agencies, the Navy, the JTF, in dealing with this issue?
You see, the Operation Delta Sanitary carried out by Nigerian Navy is one of the best things that have ever happened in Nigeria. I want to commend the dynamism, the creativity, the discipline of the Naval Chief of Staff. That should be Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. And his team, they've been working so wonderfully. Since Bala Tinubu resumed, we of the host community decided to support Mr. President because we hosted him last before the last election. We of the host community, we hosted Mr. President at Okporoza, Baramatu, Tompolo, traditional ruler, Pere of Okporoza, Norway, Dr. Waliti Nokreka, and I organized over 48 traditional rulers, and we hosted him, and 2-3 weeks after that, he emerged as the president of this country. And we decided to support him. So we're giving him every support, and we follow up all that the navies are doing in the Niger Delta.
What is the Navy doing differently?
Yes, what they are doing differently is that they decided to work with us, the landlord, and we become informant. What I'm saying could be implicating, but the truth is that there is no way you move crude oil in the Niger Delta without the knowledge of the host community. We are the landlord. We know the creeks. And so since they came on board, this president, Naval regime, present government, they're actually working with us. For instance, I had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, and he invited all the chiefs to the meeting, just November, 2-3 months ago. After that, I had a meeting with the Honorable Minister for the charge of security and so forth and so on.
As Minister of Defense.
Minister of Defense. I had a meeting with the Minister of Defense and so forth and so on. This government have decided to listen to the host community. Either from upstream, downstream, midstream, they're listening to the host community. It's only we are here to see the dividends in terms of maybe giving us what belongs to us. But I can assure Nigerians that they should give every support to this present regime, present administration of the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Defense Staff. They are doing wonderful work.
You said they are doing wonderfully well, but there are allegations against the Navy, the Chief of Naval Staff, that they are also partaking, that they do partake. Huge allegations.
Well, whatever the allegation may be, antagonists are always there in the community. The protagonists are always there. If you are a good footballer, when you are with the ball, you will be attacked. But without the ball, nobody attacks you. So I think that those who are attacking this present Nigerian Navy operation and so forth and so on, they are just antagonists. These people who are there now, I am from the Niger Delta. I can tell you what is happening in Yenegua by the Nigerian Navy, what is happening in Warri by the Nigerian Navy, and so forth and so on. They are working very well. I think the more they need to do is to get the host committee more involved, get Tatinta more involved, OMS, get them more involved. These are the most pronounced oil and gas security company we have in the Niger Delta. Then the host community is there as informant in terms of intelligence security and in terms of being informant. And so we need to work together. Issue of increase of oil thefts, no. Increase of...
It's not increasing, but look at our production level. I mentioned 1.3, between 1.3 and 1.4. At some point, we'll hit 2.3.
Yes, production level is based on enabling environment. If the IOC, the LOC are giving free hands and there's an enabling environment, the production will be there. they will keep on producing. The drop in production level is not as a result of oil thefts. No.
For instance,
nobody can prove that.
For instance, Shell Petroleum Development Company followed other multinational oil companies, followed their footsteps in running away from onshore oil production, going offshore, deep sea. What we are getting is that the problems, including those from the host communities, crude oil theft, vandalism of facilities, is becoming too burdensome for these companies, and so they don't want to operate within our Nigerian territory, but rather offshore. Speak to this.
I want to say that based on my personal experience, I can promise Nigerians that what I promised to Chief of Defense Staff, Naval Staff, that we should be held responsible, the host community. I can still promise that if at all government will agree to work with them, issue of production quantum, Shell, let's look at IOC, the International Oil Company, and the LOC, the local oil company. Either offshore, and so forth and so on. Let's look at how can we address OML 11, which is supposed to be the biggest OML in Nigeria. For 25
That's
years
oil mining
now,
license.
Yes. For 25 years now, Ogoni land is not producing anything, and the oil is everywhere. So, Mr. President, the present government should look into that. If we are talking about production increase, why are we not producing Ogoni land? Why are we not producing in other oil fields?
What are the reasons for lack of production?
That's the issue. So
no resolution of the tussle over OML 11.
No, it's not issue of tussle. The oil companies need to be held responsible. Who are operating, who are supposed to be in charge of OML 11? Why is it not functioning? Who are those in charge of OML 30? One of the biggest OML 30 that belongs to, as the national chairman, that belongs to my community. Now, so it's a question of the oil company being in agreement with the federal government that we are going to increase production. There is no crisis in Niger Delta. Out of 6 geopolitical zones, the most safe zone is the South-South geopolitical zone. So there is no reason why any oil company will give a reason that they are not producing. No. We have created the enabling environment.
What if the communities get directly involved in crude oil production? There are some indigenous who have gone into
it is capital intensive.
Oil
it is capital
business,
intensive.
Elsewhere, we see host communities get involved with equity stake in companies operating around. Now the IOCs are leaving. The LOCs are taking over. But where is the interest and place of the host community? Are they well captured in all this?
You see, the indubitable fact remains that the host community has been over-neglected, not well captured. But we're giving the best support we can give to the government and to the oil company, knowing fully that our major source of surviving economically now is the crude oil. We may look at diversification to agriculture and industrialization and so forth and so on, but it is our duty, the host committee, to make sure that we create an enabling environment for the increase of production and for good governance and management of our resources with this present regime.
Okay, now, you said the host communities know a lot of information. They have a lot of information about crude oil theft. And you said the Navy has been working with them in terms of providing intelligence. What further efforts could be done to really get you guys involved? Because you understand the terrain much
very
more
well,
than anybody.
very well.
What can the Navy, the government do to solidify this part?
What the government have to do, the Navy, Chief of Defense Staff, Federal Government of Nigeria, is to dialogue with the host community, is to award pipeline surveillance contract to the host community. We have recruited over 8,000 to 10,000 youths that were trained at the NYC camp in Iseluku on intelligence security, giving information to the government that has been. What we should do, the Nigerian Navy should work with Tatinta, should work with OMS, should work with the host community, should work with other security companies that are in the Niger Delta so that we can all protect all the facilities, at the same time create room for the increase of production. I think that our local oil companies are doing well, and the IOC, they were doing well before. Along the line, there is a little change, but I think we can still attract the IOC as a bit of attraction by creating an enabling environment, working in unity with the oil company, and then so that we can see how production can be on the increase. And so the host community should be carried along by the federal government. You don't shave a man's hair in the absence of the man. You can't carry out oil activities, contract, recruitment, and so forth and so on without the host community. The host community have not been carried along, but we keep on playing the role of a father because we know that we are the landlord and we just need to create an enabling environment.
And some community members are not part of this oil theft because some reports said, and you rightly said, you know everywhere, and without your support, collaboration or whatever, it may not be possible.
It can't be possible.
So what are you doing within yourself among the community members?
I've just said that when power was to change hand, we decided, the host community, which most of our traditional rulers, to make sure that we support the incoming government of Tinubu, and we are doing everything possible to make sure. That's why we had meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, we had meeting with the Honorable Minister for Defense, and so forth and so on. And we're still holding meeting with upstream, downstream, and military to make sure that we all work together to give room to the increase of production, and government just need to carry the host committee along. Let's work together, dialogue together, reason together. Once again, I want to reaffirm that the host committee is so pleased with what the Nigerian Navy is doing presently at the Niger Delta. You should keep it up. More kudos to the Nigerian Navy.
Okay, let's take some tweets here. The first one is from Chris Mustafa. Oh, okay. No, let's take from Cecilia Okoroman. She says, if Nigerian governors invest part of the millions of naira monthly security vote in paying a stipend to our teeming island youths roaming off the streets of all our states for intelligence gathering, the kidnapping and killings with impunity will reduce. Getting the locals involved, that's what Cecilia Okoroman is saying. It resonates with what you're also saying, getting you people involved, but not the bad eggs. In every crate of egg, you have the bad ones. It's now left to you to separate the bad egg, even if it's one.
Basically,
it colors
there are two forces that make the community to be dynamic. The protagonists, the antagonists, the bad boys and the good boys. I can tell you that the best boys you have in Nigeria today are from the Niger Delta. Kidnapping is less in Niger Delta. Armed robbery is less in Niger Delta. Oil thefts is now less in Niger Delta. Illegal bunkering, refinery are now less in Niger Delta. In fact, I'm deeply in love with the youth of the Niger Delta. What is happening in the southeast? That every Monday you don't move from your house and this and this. I'm appealing to those from the southeast, the youth of the southeast. And I want to also appreciate what is happening in the southwest, where you have the Amateku. I want to challenge those of our leaders from the north, that they should make sure that the Hausa Fulani do something about the issue of the increase of kidnapping and terrorism and so forth and so on. And so I want to say that the host community is always there, creating room for growth, for enablement, and so forth and so on. Federal government should carry the host community along. Let us work together. The oil companies should work together with the host community. The Nigerian Naval, the Navy should work with Nigeria because we own the territory. We own the oil. We know what. There is no way that a short-lived vessel will move within 1 to 50 nautical miles in the Niger Delta without our knowledge.
We'll have
There's
to
no
take.
way.
We'll
So
have to.
we know what and what to do to support the Nigerian Navy, to support the federal government, support Mr. President, and support Nigerians who really have good intention towards this country so that we can build this country together.
Dr. Mike Emu is the national chairman of host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas, and he has come with his perspectives on how we can end crude oil theft. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you also for being part of it. My name is Amechi Anapwe. Have a good time.